Hello everyone, it's Six. Warrior talents are finally here and I am so excited. That being said, things are a little different this week on the alpha. In heroic dungeons, they are pushing us to eye level 356. To give you a comparison, we were roughly at eye level 313 last week for testing, and the dungeons felt reasonable, although easy at that eye level. At 356 eye level, everything is a total stop, things just fall over. I'm saying this just to preface that ultimately dummies are going to be a better option when it comes to combat logging than dungeons this week. I'll be showing a variety of dungeon and training dummy gameplay in the background, but just keep in mind compared to past weeks, the damage in the dungeons is going to be wildly higher in comparison. Also, please keep in mind I will mention damage, but overall my impressions are over the feel of the class. Feel and feedback is hugely important to me, and damage can always be tuned. Now about the arms and warrior tree. I'll be completely honest, when I first logged in, I was worried about what the trees would be like, but as I was going through the talent tree, I became more and more excited every time I saw a new node. The arms tree has a lot of old Azerite traits, legendaries, and other gameplay options from past iterations of warrior, and all of them I am happy to see return. For the current tree, I decided to go with a whirlwind buffing type build for dungeon gameplay. I'll put my build on the screen now with what I used. You may be asking why I don't have Warbreaker. Well, it's currently bugged and I can't use the ability, so I would have that if it did work. Also, a funny thing, the spec art has a Draenei in the background. I remember seeing a comment somewhere complaining about how all the spec art has nothing but horde races. Well, warriors ended up getting a Draenei, so that's good. Faction equality. For this build, there's a ton of talents such as Storm of Swords, Collateral Damage, Fervor of Battle, and Merciless Bone Grinder that buff whirlwind damage. A big complaint of mine while playing Warrior compared to past iterations was that current Whirlwind feels like it doesn't hit hard at all. It did not feel good to press. Currently with this Whirlwind build that I've been using, Whirlwind is an amazing ability to press and it feels good every time. Take a look at this training dummy chart for DPS. Look at how much of my damage came from Whirlwind. It's such a good button now from a feel standpoint. For warrior players that played in BFA, I also took Test of Might, which gives a strength buff based off how much rage I spend within the Colossus window. This increased damage buff can be used with a lot of the whirlwind damage buffs, and we end up nuking mobs with a huge whirlwind in those windows. There's plenty of strong rage generation nodes as well in both the warrior tree itself and the arms tree as well. I end up never running out of rage. This is honestly something that may change, but currently I'm just operating off a priority list, not really worrying about my rage and dealing with procs as they come up. During burst windows, I make sure to use as much rage as possible and use my whirlwind buffs appropriately. It ends up being a very enjoyable cycle and the numbers just fly. I feel like a whirlwind of death, and this is honestly the most fun I've had on arms in a long time. And this is just the first pass of the talents, and we're only in the 4th week of alpha. I'm pretty sure some nodes probably will need to be moved around, but this whirlwind build is insanely fun. I am really happy with the direction of warrior right now. When it comes to the warrior class tree, I'm overall pretty pleased with the tree as well. Honestly, I'm happier with this tree than the shaman class tree, and the shaman trees I've really enjoyed a lot, so that is really saying something. There are a lot of really powerful talents even in the class tree. We're able to escape with a bit more utility than what we've had in the past, which is always a welcome. As a huge issue with warriors and M+ keys is often we don't have enough utility for the group compared to other DPS that do comparable or even higher DPS than we do. With this iteration, we have more defensives, more utility, and more ways to deal with mechanics than before. Overall, the class tree itself felt good on every node for choices. I know this is primarily an arms video, but class talent choices felt good to pick for arms, prot, and even fury. There seemed to be value in every node compared to some of the other class trees that have currently been updated. It felt very nice to pick talents in both the spec tree and the class tree, as overall each point usage had value, and I can't understate how good that is when it comes to designing a talent tree. Whoever did this tree really knocked it out of the park. Some interesting talents that are returning in the class and spec tree are Two-Handed Weapon Spec, Signet of Tormented Kings, Unstoppable Force, Armor to the Teeth, which while not interesting, it's nice to see some talents from Classic coming back, and specifically in the arms tree we are seeing the return of weapon-based talents. We have Sharpened Blades, which affects two-handed swords and axes, and Blunt Instruments, which uses two-handed maces and polearms. I'm curious to see if numbers will allow us to mess with those two options based on our preferred playstyle, but that will come later. I'm just excited to see these return. Overall, my impressions of the arms warrior currently in this alpha build are extremely positive. For For those that watch my Shaman videos, you may remember me saying that I would contemplate swapping to Shaman if Warrior and Windwalker don't work out. I can firmly say right now, as long as damage numbers work out with final tuning, Arms Warrior is at the top of my list. I'm extremely excited to test Arms Warrior in Mythics when those are released for testing, and Mythic Plus. I hope a lot of my fellow Warrior mains feel the same. I've already seen a ton of positive comments about Warrior from others in the alpha right now, and I'm so happy my class is in such a strong starting point. It's only up from here, I hope. If you made it here, thank you for watching. If you're interested, please think about subscribing and liking the video. It helps me out. I will be releasing alpha content and beta content in the future covering Dragonflight. I also stream on twitch.tv/BigHeroSixy if you are interested in catching my testing live. As always, I hope you all have a good day and stay safe. Thank you so much.